สวัสดีค่ะ
We are live. Hello,
Hi.
Kiara. Welcome. Bonjour. Hello from Thailand. We are finally back on track with travels, you guys. Let me log in here so I can see your comments. Hey, hello. Oh, awesome. Marcel, nice to see you there as well. Hold on. We're going to get Chloe to give you a proper Thai hello. Ready?
สวัสดีค่ะ something like that.
She's really good at impersonating. The other day she was like making all these like impersonations of people we were with and hearing, because people are traveling now, of course, so you got people from around the world here, and we met somebody from Poland yesterday, and Chloe's like, oh, this is what he sounds like to me. And what did you say?
Well, the thing is that in those countries it's sometimes hard because the Polish accent and like the Czech and all those countries, they sound very similar, so it's actually kind of difficult. But if I lost my hat yesterday. I left it in the what should I say?
So think of Papa Peter. He does impersonations. We'll let her think about it, and then we'll get back to you guys. But like, hey, boss man. Hey, hello. Digama, nice to see you.
What time is it over here? So here it's 9 a.m. We've been getting up usually around 6 to 6:30 every morning because of the jet lag. So in New Zealand,
Julia's been getting up at 6 to 6:30 in the morning. She's been sleeping in.
I'll tell you how I woke up yesterday morning. I woke up with like this big splash and sounds from the pool. The kids were like screaming and having so much fun in the pool. And I'm like, girls, it's like 6 a.m. And they're like, we're wide awake. It was so funny.
but in New Zealand, well, it's 5 hours ahead, so it's like 1.
Yeah, we are super jet lagged. But let's ramp up for you guys just to fill you in really fast on how we ended up here, because this was not part of the course, but it kind of became part of the course. And as you may or may not know, we are trying to check off all the countries we haven't been to. And so it started off with, we were over at a place in New Zealand called Lake Tarawera, which is this like beautiful area. And we were getting ready to leave New Zealand. And we were packing and downsizing and like getting all ready. And we're working on that video called Leaving New Zealand. So you can see all the basically logistics behind leaving, which is quite hilarious. But anyway, then we were like, all right, we're on our way towards India. That was the goal. And then like what happened? We did this like little detour. And the first detour, we're going to share it with you guys. I know those of you who are members, you already know, because people who are members are part of our inner circle, and we did like a special video for you guys, so you did know where we were. But for those of you guys who didn't know, we did a detour to Fiji.
Which is so unexpected because technically we were supposed to go straight to Sydney, but then we were like, well, for the same price we could go to Fiji, we went to Sydney, and then get that country knocked off. And then actually it was really special because it was my 100th country.
Yeah, that was super special. Yeah, so what happened was though is then we were in Fiji, and if you guys don't know already, we use a website called Home Exchange. That's where we are right now. We're in this like beautiful home in Phuket, Thailand. Has a pool. It's just like really nice. And so we were messaging all these people in Sydney for home exchanges and trying to work it out, because it's always best for us to have a home environment versus a hotel room. And so long story short, it's Easter weekend and school holidays and all of this all together, and everyone's booked up and moving around and stuff. So we're like, right, let's just pivot and we'll go back to Sydney a different time. And this time around, we're going to go to Thailand. So we booked flights here, which we were super stoked about because it's perfect timing. We're going to be releasing Bangkok videos anyway, so it's going to be like kind of...
And Chiang Mai.
And everything else. So that's from our previous trip, but it'll coincide with what we're doing here today, so it's awesome.
When you get to the airport here in Thailand, it's like, it's all structured. So you walk in and then they're already, basically you do your passport, you get into the country, and then there's COVID testing right on the spot. And then they call you out because you have to actually go to a hotel.
Yeah.
There's like different programs.
Yeah.
Right? Almost like packages.
Yeah. So the way it works, like every country is different, right? So we're traveling in COVID times. This is a whole new different ballgame for us. Quite stressful, to be honest, because you have to read all the rules and regulations before you go to each country and never assume that everything's okay.
Yeah, we booked flights and we were like, let's go to Thailand. And we're like, oh, you need to book a hotel. Oh, you need to do negative PCR test. Oh,
We just booked it without looking at
We
any of the
didn't
info.
because we were looking at all the other countries, so we knew everything else. But this was like a last minute trip, and we just
Yeah.
assumed, oh, it's going to be like everywhere else. No, it's not, and it's all changing come May 1st. So
Yeah.
technically, if you're considering going, it's not going to be
it's
like
like
that
the
for you.
last week, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we had to book 1 night quarantine hotel, your transportation, you know, all
But
these
everything
things.
was amazingly structured. It was so fast. It was in and out. There was hardly anyone on the plane. We didn't have to wait in any lines. It was just like boom, boom. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, and then if you want to see that video, we did a quick little thing on
Yeah.
TikTok. So if you want to see TikTok, go to Growing Up Without Borders on TikTok, and you'll see what it was like
And
traveling during
TikTok
COVID.
in general, you'll see a lot more little mini vlogs of like travel days or, you know, things like that, but or
Yeah.
our perspectives. I
Technically,
guess.
since our Instagram account is down, we're making a lot more TikToks of like little things as we go along. So if you want to follow us there, go for it. What time is it over there, Miguel? Right now it is
9
9 a.m. Awesome, right? And I apologize for any of you guys watching after this is live that are from Europe. We couldn't do the timing right because our day gets busy and we're on our way to a different area, so we had to pick this time. So I apologize. We'll try and kind of arrange it so that we hit all time zones next time. But yeah, cool. New Zealand's missing us. Thank you, Brian. That's so sweet. You're gonna see so many more New Zealand videos anyway, so it'll
So
feel
many.
like we're there. So don't worry. Nice to see y'all too. Awesome. Yeah, so cool. Love from India. Woohoo! We're coming. Get ready for us, India. Oh, so much love from Sri Lanka. Yeah, we're getting close to Sri Lanka right now. It feels so weird to be in Asia, to be
It
honest.
feels so good as well, but like it's hilarious. I was talking to some kids in my class from economics, and they're both in Japan, and then they're like, "It's like you time travel. You were always 4 hours ahead, and now all of a sudden I'm 2 hours behind them." And they're like, "What in the world?"
And we did a stopover in Singapore, and this is interesting because like every country is so weird. So, okay, back it up. Fiji, we get off the plane, no masks, no nothing, no scanning, no, like it felt like no COVID, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, what? It was weird. Like I was like, I think I should be wearing a mask. This feels weird. I'm walking into a store.
But
And
it
then-
was so hot, you just
Oh,
couldn't.
you
eat
didn't want it.
outside, no.
And in looking back, they just came off like
Yeah.
mandates, right? Okay, so, but it was weird. And then I got used to it because we were there for a week or whatever, 10 days or something like that.
Yep.
Then I come here and I'm so used to walking around with without masks and barefoot, by the way. I'm starting to get my kiwi on.
She walked into the
I walked
gas
right
station.
and they're all like yelling at me, like, "Where's your mask?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm barefoot without a mask." They might be like, they must have thought like, "What is this lady
You've done
doing?"
that a couple times actually.
I keep doing it. I keep forgetting. So anyway, it was so funny. And then we get to Singapore there, and it's like super rigid. Okay, this country you can't even talk on a train. So we're all on the train, and we're all like being all talkative as you do.
Talkative and
And then
loud.
we read the sign, and it's like no talking, no cell phone, no
You can't chew
eating.
gum.
Yeah, and it's a fine. Like you can't.
I don't think it's fine for talking, though.
I don't know, but
You're
chewing
just
gum.
not allowed to talk.
You can't
It just
smoke
says
on
be
the
quiet.
street. How much is a fine for smoking? It said
1,000.
$1,000.
And then as well, there's also like the COVID tracing apps and all that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're super strict. Like there's security everywhere, making sure you scan in. Even the kids, like the kids don't have data on their phones, so you have to have data to be able to scan in. And so anyway, that country's like really strict.
And if you don't, then you need your passport.
It's complicated.
Speaking of Singapore, actually, we were at the airport for a while, and then we decided we just
We
need.
probably looked silly because we were going in circles.
Yeah,
and in
it-
circles and in circles. Like
Okay,
We were
upside down and
explain
upside
what we
down
did.
and upside
Okay,
down.
so first of all, Singapore airport is big, and we were like, well, we know we're going to Thailand the next day, but we're exiting to get all our stuff, and then we're checking in with a different airline, and then we need to stay the night somewhere. But then to get to the hotel, well, first of all, we have a home exchange there, but we decided to leave some stuff there.
So we're going back to Singapore next week for 1 week.
So
There
we
you go.
decided to drop off our stuff. So we have to rearrange all our stuff in the airport. That's all good. Then they go off, drop off the stuff. Then they come back.
Okay, wait. I didn't rearrange my stuff. So I'm expecting to get to the home exchange to drop off our bags. Chloe and I go. And the family that we're home exchanging with are so excited to meet us. So they sat there and talked to us the whole time while I'm trying to rearrange my bags. And I was so embarrassed because I was like, and I didn't want to be mean and be like, can I just rearrange my bags? So I'm like literally like flopping everything out in their little room and then putting it all in a suitcase. Like it looked crazy. Okay.
Yeah. And then so me, Angelique, my dad, we were just like near the Jewel waterfall, which is amazing. It looks like Avatar. So we were waited for a while. And then when it's finally time to go, we decided to get a Grab because that's what they use there. But then things got complicated and then it was become later and later and we booked a
Grab app is like Uber.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't get us a car. It kept saying like, they're too busy, they're too busy,
It was
they're
busy.
too busy. And we were like, oh my gosh, like we need, and then we didn't buy SIM cards.
And for us,
right?
it was becoming, so we left Fiji around we woke up at around 6 a.m., 7 a.m. we started driving because we were 2 hours to the airport. So for us at this point, it was like 4 a.m. in our minds. So it was like 22 hours we were up. It was just crazy. But we arrived to the hotel. We stayed in this capsule.
We've always wanted to stay in a pod hotel.
But it's not really like it because capsule means you have your own little one. But this one's called a cube because you got a cube capsule.
It's kind of like a dormitory, but a really small
family one. So you got double. But bunk beds and then single,
It's
and then
like
a little bathroom.
It's like being on a cruise boat with no window, like a small room.
And there was mirrors. So the
whole thing was a mirror.
mirrors. It was like being
And
in a
you
mirror.
felt like
mirror
you could keep going, but you didn't. And you're like banging it. We were a little bit disoriented, and then
Every single bed was surrounded by mirrors, and the walls were just mirrors.
they do it to make it look bigger. But anyhow, so then I got thinking I was lying there and it's pitch black, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we get locked into the room? And I started feeling a bit claustrophobic. I was like, I don't think I could do a proper pod hotel. No way.
I would like to.
Oh man. Okay, we're gonna continue. Videos from New Zealand are awesome. Thank you so much. It's so exciting for us. We miss it, but we're also excited, of course, to be out traveling again because right now, especially Thailand, it's a country that I was like, please let's go, and Tyler's like, well, we've been there before, and I'm like, I don't care, it's so nice, and the food's so good, and the massages are so good, and it's just amazing. The beaches, anyway. Send me your mobile number. Well, we can't really, unless I think this is from Home Exchange, but anyway, maybe. Okay, God bless. Thank you.
Digamon is saying we should create a backup Instagram account until we get back the main one.
Do you think we should? I don't know. We're isn't that silly? Instagram's one of these things it's I don't know.
It's like an unaccessible app that you can't ask for help.
Kind of frustrating. Hey, we have no support to get through to anyone there. But yeah, I mean, Instagram's great for Insta stories and stuff like that. But we're posting. We'll do some more on Facebook too. So
when we get Instagram back to be dun dun dun, 1 million stories. Oh my gosh.
Maybe. It's nice to be happy. In the meantime, people in Ukraine. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yesterday someone just mentioned about Ukraine,
the people
we're happy
we were in the pickup truck with last night, he was from Poland and his wife was from the Ukraine, but she was raised in Poland.
Yeah. So their family is technically from half Ukrainian, right? Yeah. It's just terrible what they're going through right now. And it's hard to even imagine because when you're moving around and traveling, it's not like you have your routine with watching the news and we haven't turned on the TV in 2 weeks. Hey.
Well, us girls individual.
Fiji.
Well, but I mean news. We
News,
haven't watched.
we haven't seen news.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We haven't so you feel in a sense far away from everything that's happening in the world, and it's kind of crazy. Oh, on a side note, we did see that Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, landed in Singapore.
Yeah.
She landed in Singapore the same day we did.
50 minutes before us.
It was just to greet us, you guys. So those Kiwis, that's how nice New Zealanders are. They even send their Prime Minister over to greet us in Singapore. Isn't that amazing? Just amazing.
So amazing.
Oh my gosh. Kia ora, Sean. Nice to see you here.
I will say traveling, because we're traveling west to east now, east to west, sorry.
No, we're going west to east.
Yeah, no, east to west.
No, we're going west to east. No, we're going east to west.
Soggy.
We're going east to west.
No, yeah, because we're going this direction. Anyways, it's much easier because then you wake up early in the morning, you can get out, and then you can, sightsee early, and then
when you wake up earlier, you feel like you've got a lot more.
You got more day.
Yeah, and it's definitely you're less jet lagged when you go
Yes.
east to west.
Because you don't lose on time, you gain time.
Yeah. Yeah, and jet lag's not so bad when you do it that way. I always feel like when you're going the opposite way, it's so hard because then you end up sleeping in and you just feel so like sluggish.
When we were in Dubai, you wake up at 1 in the afternoon and go to sleep at like 3, 4 in the morning. And we could just never get used to the time zone.
That was because we didn't want to.
And in certain countries when it's so hot, it's easier to just go out late at night as well.
We were just in our own zone, I guess. Yeah, time zone. It was funny.
Oh, Gary's saying he's from Oshawa. We know exactly where you are because we drive through Oshawa all the time when we go see the in-laws, the grandparents. And government. Woo. I'm trying to read about your whole thing about governments and all that. We won't get into the politics because then everyone will get upset. So we'll stay PC on that, as you do as a true Canadian. Canadians are very PC. And we forget about that. Like when we're traveling, there's certain words that you don't use, and in other countries it's okay, but then if you're like US side, it's like very taboo. So like it's always, you have to be always careful. But then when you hang out with other people, they just call it as it is, you know? So then you end up doing that. And then we get confused sometimes with like French words. For example, you say un serveur is a waiter. And so sometimes my French comes out and I'll say our server, meaning like the waiter, and then people will be like, I can't believe you just said that. And you're like, I meant to say my waiter. But anyway, yes, got to be very PC, right?
Patricia said, Chantal barefoot, a true Kiwi. Funniest thing is the reason why she's barefoot is actually because of me, because I threw out my flip-flops when we were in New Zealand, and I only bought some yesterday, meaning this entire time I've been going around barefoot, but then stealing my mom's shoes whenever I didn't want to go barefoot.
The ground was hot. Yesterday she's like, I don't want to walk. I'm like, here, use my shoes. But then I'm walking barefoot, like total Kiwi style.
And then Chloe left her shoes on the airplane.
Chloe lost 2 pairs of shoes already. Yep. Nice
you know
ones.
that day when you just have been traveling you've been up for 22 hours, you've lost your shoes, you're tired, you're walking back and forth through an airport.
Yeah. And like we tried to downsize, right? So we're still kind of heavy, but we really did downsize. And then the trip here.
All we have is 4 small ones, 1 big suitcase, and then 5 backpacks.
5 heavy backpacks.
Yeah. We managed to get on all the flights so far without them weighing our luggage. I don't know how we did it. And we like weighed it in Singapore. We weighed it at the airport, and like we were trying to like rearrange everything to like make it work. Because you can't like go overweight, right? In some of these flights. But the one flight that we took here was with Scoot Airways, and so that's like the cheapy one, and they didn't even check the luggage. But then the plane was empty.
Yeah, there was only like maybe
I don't know.
15 other
Felt like
people,
there was only
20?
20 people on the flight. Like it was so weird. And that's because Thailand is just at the point where they're lifting their mandates, because who wants to book quarantine hotels and all that kind of stuff, right? But they're at the point now where it's going to be lifted. So yeah, it was I think a 5-day quarantine hotel just not too long ago. So yeah.
Someone said, my sister's watching your videos crazily, me too. I also watch many fantastic videos. Good job. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice to see when some of you like are brand new. Like if you're brand new to our channel, welcome. We're so happy that you guys are joining us, and it's neat to see when there's a new person, because then they start commenting on all the videos, and it's just fun to watch kind of the trajectory of where they're going and into our videos and where they're finding them and stuff like that. So yes, happy that you guys are on the move. We are too. It's exciting.
Yes.
Flying home country tomorrow. Nice. Going to hitch up. Ooh, Alaska. Nice. Enjoy yourself. Yeah, so here's the plan. So there's certain countries still that have like quarantine. Like for example, we were looking at Bhutan, because we want to get to Bhutan, we want to get to Nepal, and we want to get to Bangladesh. We want to get to all these different countries, Pakistan and India, while we're there. But some countries still have like 5-day quarantine hotels, which we're not going to do. So we're going to hit up as much as we can. And we're obviously behind schedule because we're already now April. It's starting to get really hot in India. So I don't even know how we're going to do it. Like, it's hard enough going through some of the markets here with the fish smells. Actually, that was in Singapore.
And you're
right?
in like in shorts and t-shirts, you know?
Yeah, and over there we're gonna be more covered. But like just in Singapore alone, we went through like the Chinatown markets.
Oh yes.
And like the smells, and you're wearing a mask, and it's hot, and it's just like, for us, it's just we're not used to the smells like that. So we're like, oh, and then you start feeling like not so good because of the heat, and I'm just like, this is gonna be interesting when we get to India. That's all I have to say. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it.
Worried.
You just
bit
go
worried.
in. You go out.
See, like, it's different because in Thailand, you just jump into the ocean, right? No big deal. But in certain big cities, with
Yeah,
all, like,
India is the place where you stay at a really nice hotel with a pool, and then that way you go sightseeing, you jump in the pool, you relax in your hotel, and then you can go for a home exchange or a place down by the beach.
yeah. So we've got some different options for home exchange in Kerala and Goa. And everyone's like, oh, spend as much time as you can there because it's so nice. And then, yeah, do the crazy stuff up in Jaipur and Agra. So that's the plan. If you guys have any suggestions or tips, please comment and let us know. And we welcome you guys to ask us any questions for the live too. Like if you have any questions for us, shoot, let us know your questions and we'll fill you in.
Someone was saying you can check the departures. Yeah, we went to the Fiji Airlines and
They said to go to Lost and Found.
Yeah, there's a lost and found, but it's inside
Arrivals.
the terminal inside, so you have to do it from inside. So since like thankfully we're going back to Singapore
Yeah.
because we wouldn't have been able to get back in to where that zone was. So now because
I
we're
mean, you
transitioning back in.
could, but it takes up time. You have
You have to fill out all these forms, they said, and we were leaving the country,
Yeah.
so we wouldn't have had time to do it all. That's the other thing. Travel right now with COVID, you need to give yourselves a good extra hour. So or even 2 maybe. Yeah. So for example, we gave ourselves three hours, right, in Fiji, which is plenty of time for a smaller airport, you would think. But because everyone's doing the lineups and because now they're checking your travel insurance, they're checking your, birth certificates, your vaccine certificates before you even get in the lineup, they're taking your temperature and you have to fill out a form there. And there's just like so much extra steps that each person has to do times everyone that just to get through your checked luggage and then you have to go do security, it takes so long. So we had 3 hours and what was it like, girls? Was that leaving to go to Fiji?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was leaving to go to Fiji.
I was gonna say, I don't think we were
Fiji was okay, sorry, leaving to go to Fiji. But
Yeah.
it was literally like last call.
Yeah. So going to Fiji, it was final call, but luckily my dad went ahead of us, so he stopped the gate basically.
It's like
Yeah.
first time to the airport.
And we
you're
were-
running like a
were
madman.
running.
we were at security, right? Just because they had to check our stuff because we had
Because we had water bottles.
water bottles and
But they weren't full, were
and
they?
a battery.
No, and then they got stuck in the security belt because they fell out of the bucket and they logged everyone's luggage. Like everything was banging into each other, so they had to push it all back.
Really?
And
So,
take it
anyways,
all
we heard on the speakers they're like
Last
call
call
for Fiji to Fiji, and we're like that's us. So we were running like madmen down the airport wearing a mask. You know, when you wear a mask and you're like,
hot.
doing exercise, nah.
But that was a 3 good hours, okay? So just putting it out there. If you're traveling, give yourself loads of time. Yeah, so leaving Fiji wasn't so bad. And
But it was a long flight, Fiji to Singapore. It was good 10 hours, but it was long, but didn't feel long, you
Yeah.
know, because we were occupied.
yeah, it was all good.
It was fun.
It was during like the last 2 hours I was like, oh, my show's off. I was getting tired. I was like, oh.
So lined up here, which is really neat. Last time we were in Thailand, we had some like amazing times. So we're going to be sharing that with you guys after our Leaving New Zealand video goes live. We're doing Bangkok, which is like a whole temple tour, cooking class, and then we were up in Chiang Mai where we did like night markets and like so many cool
Yes.
things. And it's so nice that we're here working on those videos because it feels like we're just like, working on them like as if it was yesterday.
It's pretty funny because we were here beginning COVID, and now we're leaving end of COVID.
Yeah.
Like we were here literally February 2020.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, the way things work here, they have heat scanners everywhere you go. So what you do is you don't scan in, you just literally walk by and you wave your hand and it just reads your temperature. That's what they do here for scanning.
And then they
Beep,
have
beep, 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 beep.
and then they have an app here also that locates your thing, and it'll notify you if you've ever been in contact with anyone
Yeah.
based on your
But
location.
I don't think anyone's really utilizing it.
Well, it's not like
no,
you
because
can't
it's Bluetooth.
scan.
Like it showed me yesterday all the locations I've been.
And it says blue, and if it's red, then it
Really?
COVID
I think
on
so,
the air.
yeah.
But it's not like an app you scan it. It's
No,
more so like a
it's-
QR code. So if somebody wants to scan it, so like maybe if you're at a
Yeah.
hotel, they can scan your tracking thing. But it just uses
Here
Bluetooth
or
to
from
watch where you go.
Wellington, New
And if you go to a
Zealand.
zone, then you get alarmed.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Oh my gosh! Yesterday, we won't say everything we've done here because then you guys can see in the video and all. But let's just say we went to an Instagram beach and it was quite funny. I mean, it was cool for photos. You guys might see those soon, but it was really funny.
Yes.
I'm trying to read this, Jeff. Gary, I don't get that you have rules 6 feet and all your terminal airport and you end up all cramped in an Airbus. Makes no sense. Are you talking about the small one that we got to Thailand, or which one?
No, like
at the
social
airport you have to
distancing.
social distance, and then you get on the airplane
But
and
I
everyone's
don't-
just
I
crammed
don't
in being the
know.
same.
No
amount.
one's social distancing at the airport.
No.
There's no such thing as social distancing.
Like everyone
it's
in the lines together, and so I don't think it's. We're at the end of it all, you know.
it feels like it. Although other countries are like, some are
Some
in
countries
lockdown.
are more
True.
locked down.
It's just
like
weird to see,
China,
like every
Japan,
country's so different too, eh? Like,
New Zealand still kind
I don't know. Hopefully we're at the end of it. Hopefully.
of- It's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's like
It is what it
they're
is.
locking down because of a new variant, and then they're opening up. They're like over the
Yeah.
new variant.
And it's like
Oh,
every country's different. Everyone has different rules. So just basically if you're traveling, just like consider extra time for everything that you do
Yeah.
so that you have time and read and reread the instructions like we didn't do, you know, don't assume anything. Give yourself lots of time. The reason why it was a little bit stressful getting to Thailand was because on their website it said you had to do it 3 days in advance, and we were literally at the 3 day in advance, and then it's all intertwined. Like the hotel that you have to quarantine with is the one that approves it through the government website, so you have to make sure that they click to approve and blah 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 blah. And anyway, it'll be nice when it's all back to semi-normal, if it ever gets back to that. Like, I don't know. Hey guys. But anyway, it is what it is. So, yeah, planes are harder to keep distance narrowed. Yes, yes, yes. Although, like, when we got on the plane, they were, like, spraying all this, like, mist in the air. And when we were in Bangkok back in February 2020,
They're doing the same.
they were spraying the streets.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird because this was at the start of COVID when we didn't really realize that it was going to be a world pandemic. And we just thought, we're in Asia, people wear masks, you know, whatever, that's what they do here. So we weren't wearing masks because, like, we're not, like, worried about some little virus. Like, why would we be worried about that? And then when we were walking on the streets in Bangkok, you know, they have like these overpasses, so you're like the streets are below you and you're kind of walking up high, like in a street walk or whatever you call those. And they were like literally like there was mist, and we were like, oh, I wonder if that's like why would they be spraying? I still don't know to this day what it was, but I'm guessing it was some kind of disinfectant.
you could search it maybe.
We should, like, does anyone know? Because that's a good question, like, what were they spraying? And then that means that they already have, like, the systems in place to spray their city, which is weird. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't know, I get all freaky sci-fi about it all. I'm like, oh, that's scary. Anyway, they're spraying something similar on the plane, so I'm
Are we in
guessing
quarantine?
it's-
No.
No.
Like
No.
you literally book one night, and it's the minute it just takes like a day to get your negative, and then once you have the green pass, you can go anywhere.
And I'm so happy we're not quarantining. Like, I don't know anyone who would want to travel like that because, well, for one, you book a hotel and you don't really know what it's going to be like. And hotels, they're okay, but like the girls still, they're on school break, but they usually do their school holidays. And I mean, their school work, we work. So like you're in a hotel and you're all crammed in. Whereas right now we've booked with Home Exchange and you are in a beautiful home. You have access to a kitchen, you know, and you have proper space and desks and all that
Yes.
stuff that you need. So yeah. No.
Gary is asking no,
Have you ever
Nature World. Have you ever experienced terrible incidents during the flight?
a terrible incident during a flight? Well, the only flight that it wasn't terrible and it wasn't really an incident, but it was scary for me anyway. And that was when we were flying into Ireland.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Once. Was that the same for you?
I don't know. That's yeah.
That was scary for me because I've never experienced like a plane where you're like dropping and like huge turbulence, and then it was so windy that, and this is normal, like, so it's totally normal what they did, but instead of landing like this, like straight, the plane literally goes sideways, so you're getting close to the ground and you're literally sideways, and at the last second it flips. And I was like, what the frig is going on? I had never experienced that before. And then
That happens in Wellington too sometimes. Like,
in
it's
Wellington, because
windy.
it's so windy. But that was the last flight. Like, we got in, and they're like, all the other flights were rerouted. Like, we were the last flight in, and I was just like, oh my gosh,
Flying
that's
into
scary.
Phuket actually had quite a bit of turbulence as well because it was kind of rainy out, but it was hardly as
When we were
it was good.
also flying from Fiji to Singapore, something happened on board. Remember?
What? You have to speak loud. 'cause
Yeah.
Angelique speaks so quiet.
She does.
On board from Fiji to Singapore. Something happened. I don't
Like
know.
they asked for a doctor on the plane,
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
fell over or something.
What?
They didn't
Yeah.
fall over. Yeah.
Oh,
They
those.
requested on the speakers.
Oh, but that's not. What would be the next video? So I've been working really hard on it because like technically we're all working on it, but I kind of started it, and there's so many clips that I just have to continue it, and then my mom's gonna go do all the things, and then we're gonna publish it for you guys.
The leaving New Zealand video. The thing is like we're filming with all these different cameras now.
and we're starting to do a lot more vlogs as girls as well. So that's great. We have a lot more footage. It's just
It
really
really to
long.
triage it all. So you got hours of triaging through clips.
And then it's like, should we? Because like, there's all these different things. So it's like, do you guys want to see a video of maybe just how do you get your license in New Zealand? How to do we, all those little things, or do we make it one big one, or?
I was like, should we just narrate the whole thing and cut it all down? And Julia's like, no, but we have so many cool things that people want to see. You guys should have watched, just like even some of the packing. Like we didn't film it
Yes.
all, but like the repackaging, because we had to downsize.
No, I think we do have quite a bit of packing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But we downsized.
Like
and
we can even make a
downsized,
video
and
just of how we
downsized.
pack. You know what I mean? So we've got all these little.
Okay, here's the funny thing. I was talking to somebody who has traveled to over 20 countries with 6 kids. Okay, so nothing like, not some solo traveler or whatever. And you want to know what his question to us was? It was really funny. He's like, I have a big question for you guys. And we're like, yeah. He goes, I know this may sound odd, but how do you pack? And I'm like, how do we pack? How do you pack? I think it's like one of those questions people want to know, like, what do you bring? Like, for example, right?
Yes. I'm not the best person to ask for that because I like to bring whatever I want to bring. I
But
don't have like
this
a
trip
system.
here, like literally for Thailand, we
Yes.
literally brought a backpack.
Bathing suits, shorts, t-shirts, one dress.
Yep.
Like, because we're just going here for like a week.
Yeah,
And we left I even left stuff that I really need actually, so it's quite funny. But
yeah,
we'll go back next week.
yeah. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, so we won't keep you guys too long. We just wanted to quickly check in with you and let you know where we are because, well, I'm sure you guys are wondering. Stay tuned for all the Thai videos. Then comes Cambodia, and then we'll be posting New Zealand and Fiji, and
Yes.
we should be more or less current, and then flipping back and forth with New Zealand so that you guys have all of our New Zealand videos out. So who knows? If you didn't follow or if you didn't watch the whole April Fool's video and you think that we didn't get our
Oh,
visas,
yes.
just in case people cut, and even really good friends of ours were like, I can't believe they did this to you. I can't believe you didn't get your visas. And,
We
whatever. And we're
got
like, no, we got our visas. But some people like turned the video off because they were so upset. But we did get our visas. So
Yes.
we do have our New Zealand visas, which is awesome. And everything there is in process. So it's really exciting. The last days you're going to see in our video were all about setting everything up from IRDs, bank accounts, like notarizing 10 million papers, like all of that. So that was fun. But yeah, looking forward to the videos on Phuket. You were there in the 1990. Wow, Patricia, I'm sure it's pretty much the same. The shocking thing about Phuket right now is that because they have been without tourists for the last 2 years, pretty much. I mean, obviously there's been some, but very little. You wouldn't believe how many buildings and things have been shut down. So for example, you take 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven here is like Tim Hortons for Canadians, right? And no, Tim Hortons isn't some man's house. It's like a coffee shop. I have to say that because, quick side story, this lady was doing an exchange in Canada and they were going to meet up with the bus off the 401 in Kingston. And back in the day, there's Tim Hortons all along there right now, but back in the day, there's a Tim Hortons. And so they're like, just meet us at Tim Hortons. And she's like, okay, great, but who in the world's Tim Horton? And so it was really funny because she thought it was a person. Anyway, so 7-Elevens here are everywhere, and we needed to get... And there's Toasties, which are little croque monsieurs, which is like a grilled cheese with ham sandwich. Anyway, so we were going to 7-Elevens. We were looking for adapters because we downsized. We forgot them all in Singapore. Long story short, we go to 7-Eleven, closed. Next 7-Eleven, closed. Like they were all closed down. Even the shopping mall in Phuket was closed, and we were like, what? So it's going to reopen soon, but it's definitely had like a huge impact on stores like that being closed, which is surprising for us, right? So yeah, there's your little story. Love you guys to
Will we go to
Laos.
Is that? Yeah.
Where's the question?
Any day soon? Coastal Worlds? Jim and Harriet? Coastal Worlds, that one.
Oh,
There's Tim Hortons in China.
Oh, is there Tim Hortons in China? That's cool.
Laos we've been to.
I don't
That's
know
what
if
you're
that's
referring
Laos
to.
is like a island maybe here.
Or is that in that place here?
I'm not sure.
We'll search.
There's all these different like islands, so maybe that's what you're talking about. We're looking to do a bit of a boat tour to go to some of the islands here, so we will go. I'm not sure which day, but we're gonna go do a little tour. We went to this like private beach yesterday, which I'm not sure if it was like fully worth it because it was like an Instagram beach, so you pay to go. And it was a really unique experience.
It would have been perfect if the water was clear. Let's just say there was lots of jellyfish and disappointingly a lot of trash, which was sad.
It was sad because you think of Thailand as these beautiful beaches, and there are, but
It is beautiful, but
there was plastic everywhere in the water, and we were really surprised to see that. We saw that before in Bali, and we were literally taking plastic bags out of the water. It was weird. And you think if you have to pay to go there, they would at least clean it up, or at least some people would, take it out of the water. Because was it Earth Day yesterday, or so anyway, it's kind of like sad, and then they do use a lot of plastic still in Thailand, which is surprising. So every time if you buy a drink, it's in plastic, and not only do they give you a drink in a plastic cup with a straw and whatever, but they give it to you in a plastic bag.
I noticed though, one 7-Eleven started using more fabric bags, so there's slowly, but still a lot of plastic here.
It's just a lot of extras, right? Waste, yeah. And it's surprising when you're coming from countries that have kind of eliminated that. When you see it, you're like, eesh. And then you see it in the water, it's like, it's not very good. But anyway, the other beaches were fabulous and beautiful and just amazing. So, all right, you guys. So stay tuned. Saludos desde Nicaragua. Qué bien. Hola. La playa de ayer es el mismo como Nicaragua. En la carro, in the coche. That's coche is more Spain, but you take a back road,
Sí.
And we were all thinking we were in Nicaragua yesterday. We were on this dirt road. You had to go by pickup and
It
to
was
this remote beach,
steep down,
potholes, very Nicaragua style roads, and it was really cool. So yeah, very awesome. So you guys, Chloe, are you going to impersonate your language? She does such a good job. She was pretending that she was Thai the other day, and she was like, I can't even do it. But
because we
can
saw
you try?
these TikToks.
When Chloe,
what the names are.
when Chloe speaks, it sounds like she's from the country. When I do it, I sound French.
What name should I do?
Say
Larry.
Chloe, la la la, something
Or
like
Larry.
Larry.
Some names are actually easier because just the R's and the letters make it easier. Like Lele, long time no see, or and you are, and then you could be whose name should I say?
I don't know. Angelique. Say Angelique.
Angelique.
She does a good job too with Irish. We were singing. I took it right. When you were singing that, she sounds like she's Scottish or
Well,
something.
we have listened to it many, many, many times.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I could say, a random thing. Right now we are in front of the rotating head of wherever. One of Prague's landmarks here in the city center.
That's
I
her
don't
check.
know.
That's
I
her
have no
check.
idea. But I'm trying. I'm getting there.
Yeah, we said she can make a
it.
video of just different accents from around the world.
She's good. She'll hear it and she sounds like it. Anyway, it's pretty funny. So yes.
Larry,
Oh, Joanna, nice to see you. You're in the next video. You guys will see. We sometimes have fans randomly in our videos because we randomly stay at their houses, as you do. That's hilarious. But anyway, so nice to see you guys. So nice.
Yes.
We will see you all in our next country. We didn't go live from Fiji, but sorry about that. But you'll see the video on it when we post it up. And all the best. Oh, it's 1 second. Luis is saying, quiero escuchar a Chloe en español. Chloe, hablas español, por favor.
What do you want me to say?
¿Qué quieres que? What do you want her to say? Say hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Sí, estoy bien, pero es calor.
Es calor. Que calor que tengo.
Qué calor que tengo.
Hoy quiero
Quiero bailar.
bailar. We listen to a lot of Spanish songs too. It's
Sí.
quite fun. So we, pretend that we can dance, anyway, we have fun with it. Should have seen us trying to do our Brazilian dancing the other day. That was hilarious from Lake
Stay
Tarawera.
tuned to the video. I'm just talking.
That was
Anyway.
funny. The funniest was they were dancing, blasting out music, and I'm in an English exam on my computer,
You
writing
were?
an essay, and you guys was like da 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 da. It was so funny. So I started dancing in class.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's
Have we been to the Cook Islands?
No.
Jim and Harriet, never. So everybody tells us that the Cook Islands is like kind of laid back and almost like Kiwi style, eh? People have said that.
Yeah.
And a little bit more developed than Fiji, maybe.
Actually, something about Fiji, we were quite surprised because there's two sides of it, if you will. There's like, most tourists will go off to a resort or to a different island. But we have the more authentic feel, so we saw more of the local villages and such. So we were quite surprised to see the two sides of it, if you will.
Like where we were staying was in a home exchange up above, but
Yeah.
we were literally in the villages where all the locals live. So it was interesting, eh? We visited the school, which was really interesting to see as well.
We did take a trip on a boat to go to Muscat Cove, where most people go, and we went through Detour Island to get there. And it felt like being in America all of a sudden, like gated community, resorts, if you will. It just was different.
Yeah.
And everything was luxurious, nice roads.
Yeah, it's
It's a complete different area.
It's always surprising when you see the difference of that because you're always thinking of like a country of
Yeah.
like a magazine show, and then you don't really think like how do the locals live? You just assume the whole country's like that, and then you get there and you're like, whoa.
And that's
the
what's nice
locals
about
are-
New Zealand is what it looks like. There's no difference. Everything is, it's New Zealand. Yeah.
That's what you get with countries where you have. You want to turn the AC on? Sure. Yeah, I turned the AC off because we're doing the live, and I didn't want like the sound to be picked up. But we're gonna end it. You're not. It gets hot. If we start like dripping, it's because it is hot here. All right, you guys. Okay. So we'll see you all later. Thanks so much for joining in.
Yes, we've not been to Mongolia very quickly. That is on the plan, and we'll see the
That's it.
throat singers soon, one day.
All right.
Thanks
so much.
you.
Thanks so much for
Bye.
watching. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.